All right, catching up on some GAC 3s. This one's versus Paarngfig from TI, formerly of Wallet Warriors, and very briefly, Mighty Wallets. This is probably the only, not probably, it is the only relatively clean 3v3 matchup that I have had since GLs. Yeah, I hate threes with GLs because there are some comps that you'll actually see in another video that are pretty much unbeatable in threes. Yeah, so same old shit. Nothing new to report at all because it is Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. So not a whole lot of anything is happening. Kind of quiet. Places are reopening. That's been happening. Nothing else really new to report. So we'll just kind of watch this GAC and I guess be happy that at least one of my GAC matches was clean because the rest are quite ugly. I still have not wailed totally on the Rebel Y-Wing because it's Galactic Chase. I'm taking my time with it. And yeah, kind of bored. I've been playing a lot of Game of Thrones Beyond the Wall. It is not quite as fun as this game overall, but it is a good pastime. It's not fun. But the best part about it is that, actually there are two great things about it aside from the game, like the gameplay itself. It's really easy to be a free-to-play in the Game of Thrones game and not be terrible. I've probably put around $100 into Game of Thrones. Didn't have to. It was just because I was impatient, which should come as no surprise because I'm a Kraken here. And it was really easy to get within easily the top quartile of my realm. It's also very individual based. There aren't any like group based events as of yet. Really, the only thing that is, so to speak, group based, ooh, my Scion's dead, and my Nihilist is going to be dead in a second. The only group based thing in Game of Thrones really is the quote unquote raid, where you have to kill a giant, and there's no way you're going to do it by yourself, so everyone takes about 5 turns to get the giant down, and it takes a good long while. But everyone gets pretty much all 5 battles in if they want to, so it's not like raids here in Swigo where you do 2 battles and the raid is over basically. But other than that, there really isn't much interaction. The PvP, it's not like placement based, it's aggregated points based. So if I'm rank 5 and I beat rank 1 in arena, that doesn't mean that I take rank 1 necessarily, but I do get a certain number of points for having beaten the rank 1 player, and your points are aggregated. So it goes based off of that, so there isn't sniping like there is here in Swigo. Again, I still have more fun playing Swigo when there are actually things to play for the most part, but Game of Thrones is entertaining, and again, it's easy enough to be free to play and have a viable account. The other great thing about the Game of Thrones game that has been decidedly lacking here in Swigo is that every week Game of Thrones has server maintenance, and every week the Game of Thrones devs give you free stuff for the time that it took to maintain and fix up and patch bugs in the server. So every time it goes down, you get silver and whatever else. Silver is like the in-game currency that probably can be closest or most closely equated to crystals. And you get probably about 1,000 or more silver a day in Game of Thrones for having completed your dailies, which is, in my opinion, far more than you get in Swigo. In Swigo, you really only get crystals. You get some crystals for doing your dailies, but it's not a whole lot. You get the most crystals from your arena and fleet payouts if you partake in that. Game of Thrones, you get silver for, I don't know if you get silver for that, but you get a lot of silver every day. Yeah, and it's very easy to build up an account in the Game of Thrones game. Again, the gameplay isn't as entertaining as it is here in Swigo. But you can get a lot of the interesting characters. I will say that it does take a lot longer to do your dailies in the Game of Thrones game than it does here in Swigo. And Swigo, I mean, everyone on Reddit posts it. The dailies in Swigo can take as little as, 5 minutes basically in Swigo. Excluding raids and TW and TB and GAC. In Game of Thrones, first of all, there is no large-scale TB, TW, or GAC. There is daily arena-ish. But it still takes me the better part of an hour to go through all my dailies. So for some people that would be good because you have more things to do. There are fewer things to sim and auto. Some people might like that. Some people might not like that. A lot of people early on pushed for, Galactic War here to be simmable and raids to be simmable and whatever else. So it could go either way on that, depending on who you are. Obviously, Game of Thrones is a very interesting world. I still think that Star Wars is a much more interesting and diverse world, but it's still fun. So I've been playing this, that, Hearthstone every now and then. I basically just do my daily quests in Hearthstone, and then on Weekly Reset I do my Tavern Brawl win, and monthly reset I do my ranked play and get up to a certain level where I can't lose progress. Once I get to the point where you can lose progress, if you lose a battle, I stop battling. And then I've been playing XCOM. XCOM is a lot of fun, but it's also really difficult. XCOM 2 is markedly harder than XCOM 1. And that is the bulk of what I've been doing during coronavirus, is playing a shit ton of video games, smoking a shit ton of cigarettes, cleaning out my dad's apartment, and getting fat because all I'm doing is sitting at home and eating. So yeah, can't wait for shit to open up. Hopefully it is safe enough. Hopefully people don't think just because things open up mean you can be cavalier and reckless with your hygiene and sanitary conditions, because that would set us right back. So hopefully people aren't stupid, but it is probably inevitable that people are going to be stupid. So we will soon find out. Yeah, I'm sick of Corona, sick of sitting at home. Not really sure what to do with myself, quite honestly. Yeah, it would be nice if GAC were enjoyable, but it really is just not. Because the legendaries are super unbalanced in 3v3. But what are you going to do? That's really all we got for now. It's also really annoying that I have a maxed malevolence fleet, and I'm getting dropped to like the 20s overnight in Fleet Arena. And there's only 3 Mega Krakens in my Fleet Arena, and all 3 of us are Maw members, so we're obviously not hitting each other. But it's just, it's really annoying that the Fleet meta is really not fun. And it's easy. Whether you have Negotiator, Malevolence, whatever you put on D, you're getting dropped a good way. At least in Squad Arena, even if, a lot of people have Legendary, Galactic Legends, there are certain comps that you can put on D or keep on D, and use for offense for that matter, that will keep you in position. I've been using Rey, Jedi Knight Revan, Gas, Kenobi, General Kenobi that is, and Hermit Yoda, and I think I've been bumped a total of 4 or 5 times in the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks, because it's a very annoying comp to beat. And if you don't have a Galactic Legend, either one, it's going to be very, very difficult to beat. I think there's only 2 guys on my arena shard that can beat my team with their gas. And even then, it's never a first, or at least rarely it's a first attempt win. There's some RNG involved. Yeah, I mean, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren can obviously beat it if you have the right comp to go at it, but it's still not easy, which I'm fine with. I think that for the amount of time, money, and effort that players put into getting the Galactic Legendaries and their requisites, it should be difficult to beat, and you really shouldn't be able to beat it without another Galactic Legend. I know that FTP are not going to like me saying that, but I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. I mean, and we catch a lot of shit for being whales or krakens or whatever, but it's like, first of all, we live test everything. We krakens live test everything, because obviously we're maxing almost everything pretty much out of the gate. So in a way, you're welcome. And we also keep the game going, no offense, because if CG weren't making any money, this game would have been dead years ago. So if you enjoy this game, you shouldn't be a dick to Krakens, because I've had a number of people on YouTube or Reddit say, oh, it's your guys' fault that CG acts this way because you guys pay for everything. I'm like, yes, that's not totally untrue, but we also wouldn't have a game if it weren't profitable. So pick your poison. Maybe don't hate on people that literally will live test things for you so that you don't have to, and you can be more discerning with how you spend your money. And I'm often, generally in fact, on FTP's side. I understand how difficult it is to be a free-to-play player in Swigo, and yet I still catch flack because I spend a lot of money on Swigo. So I don't really understand that. Part of it, honestly, just seems like petty jealousy, that you don't have disposable income, which is fine. That's not an indictment, but at the same time, don't shit on the people that are live testing so you can be more discerning and make better choices with what you spend your money on if you spend your money. And if you don't spend your money at all, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's probably smarter if you don't spend your money on video games. But if you don't, that's fine. But don't expect to be the top. Like, I don't, there's, not with everybody, but with certain players, there's clearly a logical disconnect. Anyone that thinks that they should be able to be at the top of a game, a freemium game, without putting a penny into it, like, you're deluded. You are deluded. You have no concept. And if, that upsets you, go develop your own game that you can just, do whatever you want. Because you're not going to be the top of any game, top. You're not going to be tip of the spear in any game if you don't put anything into it. I'm sorry, that's just not how this industry works. Maybe you need to take, I don't know, an economics business class, or, just develop some sort of logic. Again, I don't necessarily think that it's a good idea for people to spend real money on a video game, or especially a freemium game like this. But if you do, that's your prerogative. And if you don't, that's your prerogative. But don't shit on other people because they have chose a different play style than you. Because that's just childish. So grow the fuck up. Anyway, yeah, I have been a little bit more discerning with what I'm spending on since GLs. I do buy the relic packs when they come out because I hate farming. I hate leaving anything up to RNG if I can avoid it. Yeah, barring something extraordinary coming out in the near future, I will, or certainly intend on, drastically curtailing my spending, at least in the near term. We'll see what CG can come up with once they get back from their Corona vacation. Yeah, I mean, I would assume that a level cap increase is coming, because if you look at light side GOTB, most, if not all, of the enemies that you face are level 95. I feel like most of the time enemies, like hard enemies that you face in really any video game, are generally 5 levels above where you are. So us being 85 and the enemies and light side TB being 95, that might hint at the level cap increase coming. Because even with Galactic Legends, which did make light side, both TBs a little bit easier, they are still not enough to push you over the edge. I mean, I have on a couple of occasions still gone, 1 or 2 of 4 with Ray in light side TB, because it is that difficult. I do also think that the first phase of TB, of light side TB, seems a lot harder than the second, third, and fourth phases. And yeah, just in terms of difficulty, I feel like the enemies are a lot tougher in phase 1, which seems counterintuitive, but you never know. Yeah, I think maybe a level cap increase is coming, because it is literally not possible for any guild to max out light side TB stars now, or really anytime in the near future, barring a level cap increase and a massive influx of new characters. Because, and I didn't run the numbers, but plenty of people did run the numbers, and they posted it on Reddit and wherever else in the forums, that the average player in a guild of 50 would need a galactic power of 12 million in order to max out light side GOTB stars. And even the biggest accounts are, high 7, maybe 8 million GP. So there is definitely a lot of room there. Personally, I don't want a level cap increase, because then I'm going to have to level all my characters, and that's going to cost several vaults just to do that. So I don't want that. But that probably means it is not only likely, but imminent. Because if you think about it, if CG can raise the level cap and make how much money from everybody vaulting for credits, and they don't even have to produce any new content. They literally just have to raise the level cap number. I'm assuming that they have it programmed where stats will scale with the level if they were to increase the level cap. So it could be as simple as going in there and changing the 85 to a 90, and everything will scale with that. Presumably, that's a big assumption in terms of their coding abilities. But yeah, I am not computer or programming savvy by any stretch, but I think that under normal circumstances, it would be that easy for them to make a killing. All right, so 2450, not too shabby.